Martial Epigrams, Episode 2. Cas stasuo gladium cum trad eredaria paeto, quem de visceribus stringserat ipsa suis. Si qua fides vulnus quod feci non dolet inquit, sed tu quod faci es, hoc mihi paete dolet. This epigram, number 13 of Book 1, tells the story of a husband and wife, Arria and Caecinus Paetus, as displayed here in this wonderful painting by François-André Vincent from 1784. During the reign of Claudius in 42 A.D., Caecinus Paetus was indicated in a conspiracy to kill Claudius, and he was compelled to commit suicide. His wife Arria joined him. This deed was recorded by Pliny and celebrated by this epigram of Martial. It begins with this cum with this subjunctive, this imperfect subjunctive, troderet. It's cum temporal. When the loyal Arria was handing over the sword, gladium, to her own husband, Paetus. Suo paeto is dative, casta Arria nominative as the subject, and gladium the object. So when the loyal Arria was handing over the sword to her husband Paetus, and then we have quem, a sword which, the antecedent of quem is gladium, and so it is masculine and singular, and they both happen to be accusative. The first one is the object of troderet, whereas quem is the object of stringserat. It is a sword, quem, which she had herself pulled out of. This is from the verb stringo, which means to draw from a scabbard, or in this case, de visceribus suis, from her own bowels, from her own vitals. You can see in the picture to the right, she had plunged the sword into her own abdomen. She then pulled it out and handed it to her husband, Paetus. She led the way in the compelled suicide. So when she had done that, she said, si qua fides, if there is any faith, any loyalty, any trust. Qua here is actually aliqua. After this conjunction si, the ali part comes off of qua. If there is any faith, she said, the wound, quod feci, which I have made, does not hurt. The wound does not hurt if there be any loyalty or any trust. But tu quod faci es, the one which you will make, so the relative clause here is quod tu faci es if this were prose, but in poetry the word order can be varied, and thus the subject of the verb in the relative clause can come outside the relative clause. This is not at all unusual. But the wound which you will make, O Paetus, masculine, singular, and vocative, this one hurts me. Now notice that this, tu quod faci es, is the subject of dolet, or we might say that hoc is the subject of dolet, and this relative, tu quod faci es, is in opposition, faci es, with hoc. And faci es is future tense. Paetus, I've said, or paete, as I've already said, is vocative, and mihi is a feminine, singular dative. It refers to Arria, and that's because it is the indirect object of the verb doleo, dolera. As a loyal wife, then, Arria says that the stabbing of herself didn't hurt, but when Paetus stabs himself, that will hurt her.